Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Shui. I am the founder and CEO of Happily, the largest and most diverse network of virtual and live event specialists. And every Wednesday at 2 p.m. PST, I jump on camera and I say hello and introduce a friend and a colleague to come and talk about something cool, different, interesting that's happening and how we're navigating through these wild times. Today I'm really excited because I'm bringing up one of my unyis, and unyi is a word that means older sister in Korean, and her name is Esther Chae. I've known her for quite a while now. We actually met at the TED conferences, like in the very early days. She was one of the very first TED Fellows. And TED Fellows are like very special, magical creatures. I love them. They're like these like people who can do many, many, many things. But they have this sort of unique specialization or idea that the whole TED community has decided to sort of help push forward into the world. And Esther's like secret, huge, like superpower is really in the art of presentation. And she's an actress. And as we're going to hear a lot more from her about all the different ways that she takes her work and provides that as an art form and also as a service to lots of different individuals in all different types of sort of stages of their lives and also modes and methods. And Esther's a really unique person too, because she's not just an actress, she's also a writer. And she wrote, directed, and produced a one-woman play called So the Arrow Flies. And I'm going to show you a clip of that, and then we'll bring Esther up and we'll have a conversation with her today about how we're going from theater into live streams. All right, so give me a second and I will just go ahead and bring up this clip.
It's just insidious now that I'm being accused of espionage because you caught me on the reversal roundtable map, but you know better than anybody else that I need to give some information to get some information back for the UN. That is the process, that is the price we pay. And now suddenly I'm a legitimate trainer? United States Code Section 794, unlawfully delivering national defense information to aid a foreign government. I'm the fierce warrior fighting against the savage tyrant, the bloodthirsty dictator that drinks from his sickening cup. I find it very interesting that the author is pretending to shoot arrows. I know the doctors and investigators have no idea what she is doing, but she is pretending to be a Kimaji. Huh? Korean horse warrior. See, this hero who could have had anything has too much hubris. It becomes tragic. What do you mean the CIA is transferring? Transferring her where? She's black. I'm not talking to her yet. She is not an immigrant. She doesn't have a freaking bomb around her. You think right? So the arrow flies into the deep, dark void in time. Where are you going, my child? Do the enemies still hunt you down?
Ooh, everyone, welcome, Esther.
Hello, everyone that I can't see.
I know.
All the everyone's out there.
Can you tell us a little bit about So the Arrow Flies?
Yes. So the Arrow Flies is a solo performance piece that I started developing way back in 2005 and that I kept developing for the past decade, really, about an FBI agent, that is interrogating an alleged North Korean spy and the cat and mouse chase between them. It's about identity, national identities, mother-daughter relationships. And I wrote it with the instigation of having actually flown the morning of 9/11. And so it's a very dramatic piece.
You flew on 9/11?
I did.
Where were you going? From where to where?
I was in New York that early morning and flying back to Los Angeles. I had just moved to LA, and there were only about 30 some flights that were actually up in the air. And I was actually on JetBlue, which was the first aircraft that started having live news and live digital stream TV channels. And so they weren't actually telling us what was going on. And I saw everything starting from the second airplane into the World Trade Center on the news while we were up in the air. And it was, of course, an incredible time and incredibly challenging time. And one of the African-American gentlemen that was in the aircraft had said something so poignant. He said, "Thank goodness the terrorist doesn't look like us, like the people who are actually in that plane."
I remember you telling me this story, but yeah.
And you know what that all means. Like, what does it mean to be American? What does it mean to look like the other? And having actually also grown up in Korea, you're my favorite 동생. I want to make a shout out as well. And I was just thinking, well, that's quite interesting because North Korea actually, the spies blew up a commercial aircraft in Korea, and I believe in 1986. And so the terrorists did look like me. And so what would that be like? And it just kind of started stemming from there, and just everything that was going on under the Bush administration at the time. And so I packed in a lot. So it's a little hard when somebody says, "What's it about?" It's a political thriller about a North Korean spy and the FBI agent that interrogates her. That's the but what's packed in there is a lot of themes and ideas and questions.
And it's like watching you be four different people like back to back. And that show, it's just you. It's a one-woman show, right? And so you perform that, and it's how long is it? A 2-hour piece?
It's 80 minutes, 85, 90 minutes, depending.
Yeah. Okay. So like hour and a half. Like, I mean, that seems like so much mental energy. Like, and just being on camera, honestly, for like 20 or 30 minutes, like afterwards, I'm like, oh, somebody give me like a wine and a juice box. Like, how do you, how do you actually prepare for that?
Well, that all comes from my theater training. It really does. It was definitely, I wrote myself the most challenging character to portray. And there's a very specific reason why. As a person of color, as a woman of color in the arts, I wanted to express my ideas and also invent and create this challenging piece that many others could actually perform as well. And so it comes from the rigor of understanding each character and really rehearsing a lot. When I do get an invitation, I don't do it. I haven't done it live for a very long time now. And but when I do get the invitation, I have to go into a rigorous rehearsal process to make sure the transitions happen seamlessly, that the audience members believe each character. And I feel very confident and very proud that I did do a good job when it was a live performance.
Yeah. And like, have you thought about doing it now for movie? Have you ever thought about doing it for a movie, or have you thought about doing it even for like a virtual event?
Absolutely. I actually feel like I was ahead of my time, or at least ahead of my time.
Obviously.
Because after the TED Fellowship, like you mentioned, when we first met in 2009, this was one of the reasons that I was invited to become a TED Fellow, because of the content and the kind of work that I was doing. And I was a multi-hyphenate artist in that sense of being the actor, producer, writer about an issue about global politics and global identity. And at the time, I actually wanted to do a live stream because I was getting
in 2009.
exposed. I'm sorry. Yes, in 2009. Yes, after my TED Fellowship, I was just like, oh my goodness, I should do my stage performance, live stream, have all the audience members from around the world live chat and respond back and see which character they like, respond to the storyline. What do they think is going to happen? Because it's a thriller, it's a espionage story. So you don't know what's actually going on until the story starts unraveling. I wanted to do that. I was trying to figure out how to put it together and build a team, and I just never was able to do that. So I did yet. I
know. I was like, oh, let's do it for you. Like I was like, let's do it. That seems like fun.
Yeah, I think at the time, to really, when I was melding these ideas and experiences that I had, people really didn't know about TED Talks.
That's right.
People were like, who is that? Did you go to what it just, people didn't know.
And it's hard to explain too. You're like, there's all the most intelligent, cool people all in one place and they share ideas. And then you're like, okay.
And I remember going actually back to a Yale School of Drama reunion, and I was talking to the staff members and professors about just having come back from it, and they just really had no idea what I was talking about. And so it was really hard to garner.
And so you went back to Yale, which is where you went to school, right? And then you told them that you were a TED Fellow, and they're like, whatever. That happened?
Whoa. I didn't go back. There was some kind of reunion. There was some kind of get together that happened in Los Angeles, and people could not be less interested. And so I never got that going. And I remember trying to put that together, and I thought that would be so cool. And it's still cool.
Yeah, I like thought like you think it still would be great. Well, I think it's you were really ahead of your time to think about that. I guess because TED Talks were like online and we were doing things in live stream. Maybe this is how it came about. But Hamilton, right? We were talking before this started. We were talking about how Hamilton, which is theater, goes live stream. And what were the numbers again? It was like they had crazy numbers, huge numbers for how many people had actually viewed. Do you remember? Let's see. Hamilton.
I do not remember. I do remember Lin-Manuel Miranda saying something in the Zoom Talkback documentary that they had made, that the people who saw it in 3 days surpassed the audience members, the live audience members they had back for 7 years. And we're talking about the most famous, most popular, most sought out theater live experience. But the 3-day streaming that they had done had actually surpassed that. I thought that was an extraordinary fact. It just is mind-blowing. And I loved it. I loved watching the actors spit. I'm like, spit. I love it. I want to see more spit.
I didn't get to see it yet. And I really have to watch that, and Black is King. I think it's Disney Plus is winning on content. I'm like, man, I need to get on Disney Plus. In fact, the app, I'm looking it up, according to Variety, the Disney Plus app was downloaded 500,000 times globally. And 250,000 times in the US just within a 3-day period. Like incredible. That's 72% higher than what Disney Plus downloads usually are. So Hamilton brought the heat there. So was it different? Like, you know, and also like something that like, so yeah, was the experience just, I thought that they were just going to take their old footage and then put it on Disney Plus. Is that what happened, or was it something different?
In a way, it was. It
Okay,
was filmed in 2016. So thank
got it.
goodness we have Lin-Manuel Miranda as a culture maker, as a culture shifter, because the theater, I feel, has just been so adamant of being classically unchanging. And I find that really uninteresting and uninnovative. And so he brought it and he proved it. It was filmed 2016. I'm not quite sure what they were planning with it in particular, but pandemic hits, they're ready, it's put together, and boom, history
Beautiful.
has been made yet again. And
Beautiful.
so the experience is different and same, and there's a lot of overlap. I've seen it live, and I've also saw it on TV as well, and I really loved both experiences.
Yeah, it struck me maybe over the weekend or just recently that I kind of see a lot of similarities between theater and live events, and
Yeah.
theater and movies, and then live events and virtual, where you know, I'm always saying like virtual events are a new genre of media, and folks who are like in live events only, I worry, right, that like maybe they're missing out on this like huge wave of just sort of like new ways to connect, the interactivity of media that virtual allows, simply because it's just sort of different, and it's not like it's not the same. You can't smell it. You can't feel the spit if people spit on you, right? Yeah, because the theater goer is a very specific type of person, right?
I think anybody should and can go, but the immediately the price point is an issue. Hamilton was going for what, $700-800, and I don't even know about the black market. So that in itself, although the theater company, from my understanding, did a really phenomenal job making sure that it was accessible and having tickets accessible for people who might not be able to afford that type of Broadway theater show. So that in itself already specifies what kind of audience member you're getting, as opposed to $7 and downloading the app and
Yeah.
being able to see it anywhere on your computer, your TV, your phone. That's incredible to me. And so I was very, very excited to hear about it and to see it. And I actually watched it with my 5-year-old daughter,
Oh,
and then realized it was too intense for her. She was like, "Why is he so mean, the king?"
oh, she's so sweet though, and it's like super sensitive soul, so I can see that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like I remember when that happened, I was like, I when I saw the headlines and I saw that there were these huge numbers and that Hamilton did really well, I was really happy about that too, because that I was hoping that that would be like a really good signal for Disney to keep everybody at home, right? Like during COVID. But a week or so later, they opened up Disney World in Florida, and you know, I just felt like that was such a missed opportunity, and I was like, that is so strange. Like it was a smashing success, you know, for Disney Plus and their executives, and I started to research like deeper into it, and it's just that the majority of Disney's money actually comes from their theme parks, their live events. So it seemed like they just made an economic decision over a health and safety one in that case. And when you look at like concerts, right, like musicians, they make more money from selling tickets to go to a show, you know, or even sometimes from merch, these physical items versus digital. It seems like there maybe just needs to be a better way to monetize on the digital content piece of things. But we're so trained and conditioned now, right, to like pay $7 and get access to these multi-million like blockbuster productions. It's tough.
We are. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And definitely we're getting spoiled. And I think that's still a really good thing in terms of accessibility, because I don't know about the numbers as much. And that's very interesting to hear about the actual Disney parks opening. But for me, when I was watching Hamilton with my daughter, I was just thinking, this is her first theatrical experience. Yes, it's
Oh,
digital,
wow.
but this is her first theater experience, seeing all these actors of color, all this talent. And not only hers, for so many people, and they will not know what the norm of Broadway is. And so they will challenge this current norm of "we see you, white theater." I don't know if you follow the hashtag "we see you, white theater." There's been a
No,
huge
is that like Oscars so black or Oscars so white?
so white, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Yes, absolutely. The numbers are actually even more harrowing when it comes to theater, because it's not an international audience in a way. There's, of course, the tourists that come in. And so for me, that Hamilton, that a rapping musical about history of our forefathers with actors of color in this artistic form, being the first experience in the performing arts,
It's pretty
we
cool.
won.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
so we've only been in the pandemic really in this new world for not really that long. It'll be very interesting to see how this all unfolds.
Yeah, I think a
For
lot
the
about
positive, for the better.
yeah, I think a lot about like the globalization, like there's so much migration, us moving to another country and also like yesterday I was speaking to QQ. I was speaking to a group of folks at this summit, and like the people who I was talking to, it was like this too where I couldn't see them, but they were chatting in and they're like, I'm from Jordan, I'm from Israel, I'm from Germany. They were from all over the world, and I was like, hello everybody, like I can't believe this is like, I'm probably one of the first female CEOs they've ever met, like like crazy, but that's awesome. I love that everything's becoming more global. And you've been hopping between Korea and teaching in Korea, right? Acting, and also you taught. Were you teaching in Africa and in Italy? You've been in many places. Maybe you can give me your rap sheet on that.
Sure. Actually, with So the Arrow Flies, because it does have a educational component in terms of what is identity, what does it mean to be a global citizen. It does have these components in it. So universities have responded to my piece and have invited me over. So I performed it at Wellesley College, and I performed it at a theater festival in Italy, in NYU. And so inevitably after a performance, there's a talk back and or a master class that is attached to it.
Talk back. Sounds sassy. Sounds like
just to talk back with the artist. Slap the artist around. Why did you do that? And what does this mean? How can it end like that?
Is it like that?
No. Oh, the talkback is like that without the slap.
It is like that. It's a perfect word.
So I think what you're referencing is, of course, I've taught abroad as well. So, and a lot of my teaching has been with the play itself. But most recently, I've been teaching in Korea over the summers at Yonsei University in advanced acting, drama and performance and presentation skills and business. And so, yes, I've taught in Nigeria, Italy, Korea, US.
Wow.
Blah, blah.
Do you think that we didn't, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like we're like closing out in time. And I was like, we're going to talk all about like how you like help all these amazing executives like present better, like on screen, but everyone can follow Esther and figure that out. Do you think that there is a, like now that everybody is global and people, do you think that the presentation and sort of nonverbal communication as it relates on screen, like these things are going to become more standardized across the globe. Is that going to happen? Is that possible?
I don't know if it will get standardized. That I don't know. I think there is already a standard when it comes to on-camera speaking and communication, period. And we're actually big consumers of that through social media and also through filmic work. And so for instance, the eye communication and the expressions in the eyes and eye sightline, if I am continuously even just doing this as I'm speaking and say I'm just reading notes,
I do it all the time.
Sarah, pull your
it's so
notes
hard
up.
not to. I'm always I feel I have like a constant side eye. How do you?
I don't have a side eye.
I can't help it. I even have, this is like behind the scenes. I even have this like little emoji sticker that I put like up in front of the camera lens, but I still stop looking at him. It's so hard.
Well, it's very hard to look into camera. I think that's definitely a training that on-camera actors have to do to speak directly into camera. That's really hard. Even right now, I am not looking directly into camera. Although
I'm doing it. I've been doing it the past 2 minutes, but only the last like maybe 60 seconds.
But when you're doing a monologue, when you're speaking by yourself, absolutely, you can train yourself to do that. But when you're in dialogue, I don't do that because there's just so much you get from just looking at each other. But like I mentioned to you, I said, does this look good? Because I minimize you and put you as close to my camera as possible. So the audience, when they're looking at the on camera, the audience in this instance, that it is live, but we don't see them. They feel as connected as possible. So basically the facial expressions, everything that I teach that is a transition from theater language and theater acting to on-camera acting, that all applies now to everyone.
To everybody, I know.
Everyone has to embrace and understand that they are some kind of performer. And I want to mention this before we have to wrap up, in that people think performance and acting is inauthentic or it's pretending. And it is not. And I think this is the biggest, I guess, I would love for our audience members to have as a takeaway, in that acting really is reaching for the truth and authenticity in a fictional, made-up framework. And so in that sense, our Zoom virtual culture is fictional, it's artificial. We're not in the same space together, and you are a type of actor and performer in that sense. But it's about being authentic and making a strong connection with your scene partner, whomever you're talking to, your larger audience. And so I think I would love to see that get standardized.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, so before you go, and we'll play this game. We play a game. I play a game. I created a game. I don't know if you watched my other things, but it's called Good Name Bad Search. And what I did was I went on LinkedIn and I basically Google or LinkedIn searched your name, Esther Chae, and then I took the pictures of people who have your same name and their job titles, and then the game is you're gonna guess who does what thing. Yeah.
Guess who? What person does what?
Yeah. Who is Esther Chae?
Okay. Who is Esther Chae? Who?
So Esther Chae is, aside from this Esther Chae, who is an actress extraordinaire, a troubadour ambassador. Which Esther Chae is a senior associate of regulatory affairs, and which one is a Montessori teacher?
That is amazing.
Oh wait, no, I did it wrong. Shoot, I'm sorry. I ruined it. How is that possible? No.
The audience loves this. The audience loves anytime something goes wrong in a live situation. In
Wait,
a fun
now
way.
you can guess again. Did you remember already?
I kind of do. Like, it was just
Okay,
an
then just
order.
tell me.
So actually the first lady, she seems actually very nice to be a regulatory officer. Is that right? She seems so lovely and pretty.
Too. She could be like a pop singer, I think.
Yeah, she could definitely be a K-pop persona. And then, oh, I don't even know, a troubadourist, a troubadour?
Yeah, like a
Music.
like a troubadour ambassador. She's at USC and she's an ambassador for troubadour. I don't know if troubadourist is a word. I made that up just so that it could fit into the thing.
Okay, because I was like,
And the teacher looks really stern. No?
I think it's because it's a Korean photo that looks like very much like a Korean photo, very, non-smiley, a little, serious, and you can teacher, trust me. Yeah, but for Montessori, it doesn't quite go, but all the ladies were lovely. And yes, Esther
But
Chae.
you're our real Esther Chae. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all of your thoughts and having a conversation with me. Everybody follow Esther Chae on LinkedIn. I think we've hyperlinked her inside of sort of the paragraph description. And Ani, let's do So the Arrow Flies sometime. Let's do it. And I will always be looking into camera and thinking of you.
Great. And pulling up your notes close to the camera. And then you can scroll your notes. So it's just like it's like a prompter. And so your eyes just stay in the same place.
Go watch my future of virtual events thing, because I did that for that one, and let me know how I did. Do you score people? Oh my gosh, like that intake, you should be like, send me, like, read your thing and then I'll give you a score. People will love that. I don't know, maybe they'll love it as much as they love watching me mess up the game. It's more fun when the game works. I'm so sorry about that, but anyways, thank you so much, Ani. See you later.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's okay. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that conversation that I had with Esther. I really enjoyed it. She's one of my faves. And I hope that you will all join us, if you can, tomorrow and every Thursday at 5 p.m. PST. We do a talent showcase with different musicians and wellness leaders. And we also play lots of different kinds of games. And tomorrow we are going to have a very special guest, Aditya Prakash, who is a young vocalist who's amazing. And let me see, I'm going to just play, because the more I talk about him, it's the less interesting it becomes. And you can watch him do his thing. Hold on. Actually, maybe... So Aditya is a virtuoso of the Carnatic music. It's one of the oldest systems of music in the world. He has performed with Ravi Shankar. He's going to be singing with us tomorrow at Happily Hour. We hope to see you there. And in any case, I'll see you at the next LinkedIn Live. Bye.